Hello, my name is Léa, and this week we're taking 5 minutes each day to pause and reflect together on what it means to experience a season of desert, maybe an emotional or a spiritual desert. Today, I want to suggest that deserts can prompt us to experience prayer. In crisis, we pray. This is the title of a paper published in March by Janet Sinding-Bedson, Associate Professor at the University of Copenhagen. In her research, she found out that during the month of March 2020, the share of Google searches for prayer surged to the highest level ever recorded, surpassing all of the major events that otherwise call for prayer, such as Christmas or Easter, or even Ramadan. This was picked up by the British comedian Russell Brand, who shared on social media a video clip with a kind of tutorial on how to pray. People are looking for a sacred experience, he said. Actually, this is inherent to the whole story of mankind. We are craving for the sacred. And this is visible, for instance, in our artworks throughout the ages. But it seems that during a worldwide pandemic, this quest for the sacred resonates even more profoundly in our souls, because our seemingly solid ground starts to crumble up, because it feels like suddenly life turned into a desert. We look for something more to stand upon, something more stable, something more reliable. And so, in a desert, we pray. The problem is, praying takes time, and we have no time, unless a season of desert unfolds in front of us. So maybe the desert can be an opportunity to reframe our thinking. Exceptional circumstances call for exceptional measures. Even unbelievers might turn to prayer in such times as this. And even if we don't understand the specific mechanics of prayer, and I certainly don't, but let me turn to the Bible to see it put into practice. When Moses was walking through the desert, and man did he have a hard time over there, he regularly turned to God. He would pray and seek counsel, or he would expose his anger and frustration, or even ask desperately for help and protection. We have a few of his prayers recorded, but what really draws my attention is not their exact wording. It is the language used to qualify those very moments of prayer. We read that he was speaking with the Lord, that he entered the presence of God. If we only want answers, we have Google. But if we Google prayer, my hunch is that we're actually searching for something more than solutions. We want communion. When Moses prayed, he experienced a conversation with God. He was immersed in the very presence of God. If that's not a sacred experience, I don't know what is. Hundreds of years after Moses, Jesus walked the earth in similar desertic settings. He spent whole nights up on the mountains to talk with his Abba Father. And in the long hours of the day, when he was ministering to people, he could confidently say that whoever has seen me has seen the Father. In other words, praying is way more than a sacred experience. It is a way of life that brings you close to the very heart of God. Is this your experience of prayer? According to the Google data from the study I mentioned, the rise in searches for prayer amounted to 12% of the rise in Netflix searches. Internet users all over the world were 1.3 times more interested in prayer than in food delivery. Well, maybe Moses and Jesus were right when they were saying that we live not on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Yet, so many times, I feel like I'm praying as I would go on Netflix or Uber Eats. I connect and I ask what I want. But in my desert, this has left me dry and restless. Can I experience prayer as a conversation with God Himself? An opportunity to be immersed in His very presence? This is my challenge to you and to me and to all of us today. Why not take our words to God in prayer and let Him pour His word into our hearts? May His presence be with you.